Welcome to Dyson Sphere Program. My name is Niels, and this is a return to our Let's Play series. It may be sort of the last episode of this Let's Play series, or I may be coming back, depends on your feedback, whether there are some specific things you'd like to see. So as you will see in this this showcase video, I have progressed quite a lot with the base over on my Twitch. I'm streaming it pretty much 3 days a week, and I feel that this game, as in the later stages, really fits better for a Twitch playthrough than it does for a YouTube playthrough, because things are just slowing down a lot as we go in. But you can see here, beautiful sphere. This is a Che Guevara's sphere, also Che Guevara who has designed it, and we are now coming in hot on our beautiful planet. This planet is, let's have a look. This is my science planet, and this is what I'm going to showcase today. I'm going to show you how awesome the science is, how big the base is. It is producing 60 science per second. Each of these builds, you can probably only see them basically from orbit. This beautiful little rainbow here. I tried to make it rainbow colored, and that will be coming in here. Each of these towers here produce 10 science per second, plus 10, plus 10. So that's 30 science per second being consumed here. And then I have 2 of those. I could build more if I wanted to, but I couldn't support more because that's kind of the big deal about this. So we are seeing this beautiful thing. What you should be aware of, let me just go back and switch the UI on. There we go. What I am doing, I am getting it stuck here on level 4. So I'm not reaching level 5 because right now my hash rate is, my refresh speed is 500%, not 5 plus 500, but 500 in total. And that just gives me some nice even numbers. If I wanted to jump up, it would have to jump up to a double. But I mean, I also like the fact that I see these towers, they're big, and that looks awesome. So let me just explain how this works. It works quite simply that we have some import towers here. They will take care of our imports. They're all fully saturated and all happy going in here. And they will go in, there'll be 3 from each side. We can take the middle ones here. Yellow, green, and blue. They're put in the middle because they're in the middle of the rainbow. And then we have the purple on the outside, the red here, and then I'll have the black one here being the infrared and the white one being the ultraviolet. So I don't know, that's how we figured it would make the most sense. And now you might ask, why are these not working? Well, they are still fully saturated, and they're waiting for the belt to slowly empty, and then they'll empty the tower and start producing again. And this is over here, this is fully saturated on 30 science per second, so it's collided into one belt exactly here. And over time, they will gradually go down here. You can see the towers here. They are starting to work slowly. This tower is working, and soon we will see that this one here, this will push further over, and then we'll start actually outputting from that side as well. It's going to take a bit of time, but it will get there, and then it'll stabilize. We can look at the part here. Let's look at it for 1 minute so we can see, and then look at 1. On this location, we can see that we are consuming 3,600 per minute, or 60 per second. The production is of course not scaling up yet, but that's because some of it is still waiting for the buffers to empty. What I want to show you is, I want to show you each and every one of these builds that I have done, and just briefly go through what they look like and how awesome they are. But also, when you see them, you will be realizing that things become quite repetitive in the later stages of the game. So naturally, I think the most logical thing for us is to start looking at the blue science. So let's jump on over to the blue science and take a look at that. Here we are at the correct location. This is the Sabaton system. And we are heading over to this planet over here that we can barely see. That is Timbo still shooting sails at this star. And because, yeah, it's a big one. There are lots of stars around the star. And that's basically the Dyson Sphere pattern for that one. Let's see if we can hit this one. I probably can't without just pointing. So let's go there and point it more accurately. So you can see that even though we've been building, also look at the background, how many flights you have back and forth here. It is quite absurd how big the bases has to be to follow up. We're getting very close, and there's a nice pink color here. What I'm going to try to aim for is the, there we go, that one. Bounce, don't bounce, don't bounce. Oh, I bounced. I bounced. All right, try again. There. So what is it we have here? We have a very small build, very modest build here, and I'm going to build it exactly the same way for all of them. I'm going to have 3 parallel towers, each producing 220 per second. This one you can see it's just gradually filling up, and this one has been consumed. This is one of the things that when you do this kind of thing, they're not going to be consuming evenly, so it's going to run this one all the way down before it really starts consuming any of the other ones. It's a bit of a shame, but that's just unfortunately how it works, and something we can look at for further optimization. But you can see here our science is working quite nicely. It's only 3 high towers. I could of course make them bigger, but I want to have a consistent concept of just saying the only thing I want to change, I want them 20 deep. I want to change the height depending on the crafting speed. So this is on a 3-second crafting speed. Therefore, I'll have them 3 high in 3 tall. Yeah, so that's how we do it. We have the subcomponents here. They are really simple. There's not much to it here. I don't really need a lot to keep this fed. So it's very simple. It gets more interesting when we get to the next one. So let's take this opportunity and jump on over to the red science. And here we are back at our home system, also a beautiful sphere. This is the St. Cabot system, and we're going to go back to one of our very early starter planets. We have a gas giant blocking our way, and then behind it, or around it, we have 3 starter planets, or the 3 planets that we started off with back at the very beginning of the game. And we're trying to hit the middle one here. And you can see there are 2 spheres around this one, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. Let's bring that in. There. Good, and bring it in, get that here, and this should be the one where we have our red science. Oh, look at that, glimmering at the distance. The red science is a bit different from the other ones, and the reason why the red science is different is because it actually has twice as much input like the other things. Like each one of these require 2 graphite and 2 hydrogen. Now graphite and hydrogen are something that, well, hydrogen, I'm just basically requesting it from anywhere in the galaxy because I'll always have enough hydrogen. We can always get it from a gas giant if we need it, and they're going to be back and forth. The reason why these are not working is because, well, it's still stuck here. So if I was just pulling out a few here, we'll see that they will gradually get started on working. But why would I have to do that? Never mind. So what we're seeing here is I could not take these down with semi belts, so I'm going to be putting them 2 next to each other so I can have a half a belt or a full belt this side and a full belt on the other side feeding these towers. The work here is on a 6-second cycle, and then we ask the question, okay, so if you need 60 red cubes, then you need 120 hydrogen. Whatever, we'll just get them out from some gas giant, don't care, it's easy. And the graphite, well, let's get that, and I've decided to get that from coal because that's stable and there are no byproducts, so it can't jam. It's just make sure that we have enough coal. This one is too much, way too much actually. This is no, this is actually 120. This is 60 plus 60 here. Yep, 120. This is 15 deep, but they are crafting speed 2 because they are plain smelters, so that counts as 30, and they produce 1 every 2 seconds, so it's 15 plus 15, that's 30 on this side and 30 on the side, so 60 plus 60, 120. So this is working fine. This one is also working fine. It's getting coal in from, actually it's getting it in from the very starter planet. I think that's one of the few places we actually mine coal, and that results in our build here for the red cubes. Now, neither the blue cubes or the red cubes are particularly impressive, right? So it's really onwards to the next one and have a look at the yellow one, where we see the complexity is starting to increase. So let's find out where the yellow one and start looking at sort of all the subcomponents needed for that. My design is that I want one planet for each science, and then I'd want to try to make everything except the basic components at that specific planet. Let's go out into the world and find our yellow science. And we are back here in this planet around the Tegevaros system. This is actually the most beautiful of my Dyson spheres. I have 7 Dyson spheres, and I have no intention of just making the biggest ever, but I'd rather have 7 different systems and designs. I'm now going to do some navigation, so let me see if I can hit this planet. This is the Thosal planet, taking care of our yellow science. Let's have a look at what it goes like, and I can bounce it there. There we go. I saw the yellow. Look at the yellow just thriving here. So it's almost done. So let's have a look at the yellow signs. It actually on paper looks really simple. You can also see that the towers are now 8 high because they need to take, well, they need to take in 8. And you can see this one is actually being drained. That's because, well, one of them will always be drained first, and, well, this is the one. So it needs some titanium crystal and it needs some diamonds. Those are the two only things that we need. So let's have a look at the easiest one. This is the diamonds. This is the pathetic thing, right? I mean, this thing is doing diamonds. All of it. Yeah, all of it. So how does that work? That's because we're using the kimberlite, and kimberlite is probably the least useful one because you need so little diamond in your builds that, yeah, this is gonna be fine. So it goes from 1 kimberlite into 2 diamonds, and that means 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 12 of these times the crafting speed is 2, so it's 24, and it counts as 24 normal miners, and each of them is 1.5, so divided by 12 divided by 1.5, that's 16. So this is 16 per second plus another 16 per second, isn't it? Is it 1 or 2? No, it actually gets 2, so 16 is 30. It's basically each one of these is 30, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 120 input, which is way more than we need because we need 60 here, and we only need 60 in total. So I just doubled it because I felt that that was just such a small build. And now this one is a bit more durable, a bit larger here. We are making the organic crystal, where we're not making them, we are just importing it from somewhere, and we're getting titanium from any of our many smelting planets around the world. And they are just making the titanium crystals with the easy recipe. Of course, there are other things on this planet. In this case, we have a bit of nanotubes for some reason. Oh, right, because we had spiny foam on this one. But that's basically it. We can look at this one. Each of those will produce 40. Let me see. This is on a 4-second cycle, so we can look at, if this was speed 1, that would be 1. And then how deep is it? It is... How is it 14 deep? 14 deep? Oh, 14. Yeah, times 1.5, that's 20. It counts as 20 normal assemblers, so 20 times 4. Yeah, so this is 20 plus 20 plus 20. That's the 60 we need. Perfect. So this is working right at balance, and it is awesome as well. So you can see even these ones are pretty damn simple to set up. It didn't actually take much. Of course, you're going to need a lot of titanium to feed it, but hey, that's a different matter and something we already solved with our smelting setup. Now let's look at when the two last ones are the worst ones. They are, of course, the purple and the green, but also looking at the setup for how we do the what is it called? The antimatter, because we need antimatter as well for the white signs. So we'll take a look at the purple. Let's go to purple and figure out where that is or what's happening there. Now we've reached yet another system. I really like this design as well. It's very simple, but it gets the job done in the sense that it there are 3 rings. You can see the arrows. You can still see the arrows, and they are actually slowly spinning in the direction of the arrows. So these 3 are just yeah, they're providing about the 30 gigawatts or something like that for this planet. And let's see if we can find this planet. It should be out here somewhere. Whoops, that one. Okay, we are coming in close to that one. That's good. This is Livestream, and the star system is called X0. Now all of these names are taken from the Patreon supporters who are supporting the channel and the work I do here. So thank you massively to all of you Patreon supporters. It's been super awesome, and I think it's a really great way to pay tribute to the patrons, to take a look at them as as planets and stars of our setup here. Right, so what do we have here? That's definitely not something we would expect to see, but we'll go over here and see if we can find our science. Where are you? There you are. There's some science. And let's have a look at it. Purple science is also looking absolutely wonderful, except for this one, because it's... Because what? Why are you not working though? It should be coming in. Oh, right, it is coming in. It's just when it's the orange part. It's not picked up yet. So it is working and slowly getting scaled up. But it looks brilliant. Let's have a look at what it requires, because now things are really scaling up and becoming a lot more complex. So again, there's always 2 inputs. One is the processors. We can just go through the processor build, and then the other one is the more complicated particle build. But the processors is also a difficult one because I need 2 processors for each one. So I need 60 purple cube. That means 120 processors. Let's have a look at the processor build. This is a small one. And we might have some issues on high purity silicon for unknown reasons. This is a small build. It only does 10 per second. Because this takes 3 seconds. So this was, if these assemblers were crafting speed 1, there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then another 5, so that's 10, but they're crafting speed 1.5, so it's 15. Okay, so it's 15 plus 15 plus 15, that's that's 45, plus another 45, and plus another 30 here. So that gives us in total 120. They're all producing, as you can see here. They have a slight surplus in some of them, or in most of them, so they are available. And of course, we also need to make sure that we build some circuits available as well. So I have some circuit builds up here. And that takes care of that one. This is a really, really nice standard build. Just to FYI, if you're looking at some of these builds and go like, that's so neat, can I have them? Maybe. If you want, I can make some dedicated videos for each science on how to do that. But generally speaking, I don't want to just make every single thing into just its own blueprint, because these blueprints are designed towards what I need. But of course, if you are a Patreon supporter, then you can always get a save game. They are available through the Discord if you are a Patreon supporter. So that's kind of one of the few perks I have there. Let's look at the other side of this. This is the particle broadband. Now we only need one of these particle broadbands for each purple science, so we need 60 in total, and that means this part here has to be making 20. Is it making 20? I damn well hope it is. This is on a 8-second cycle, so that means it's 20 deep here, and that would correspond to 30 normal assemblers, and that means it's each 2 rows here will produce 1 per second if they were speed 1, and that would give us a total of 20. Cool. Plus that one, they're all good. And then we have the input items here: crystalline silicon, plastic, and carbon nanotubes. They are all resources that are super difficult to make. So what I've done is I've made the plastic over here. This is a dedicated plastic build, which I actually really like. The fact that they are sort of tied together like this. There is a slight gap here, and that's because I need more of the inner ones, or more of these. They run on a 4-second cycle, but these run on a 3-second cycle. So I need 4 of the refineries for 3 of the chemical plants. But it works. It scales up. It's super slow, as you can see here, but then we need a lot of it. So how much did we need for the purple science? Let's see, purple science, I needed 1 for one of these. I needed 1, so it's actually only 60. So again, if we look at how small it is, this is only each one here is doing, these 3 is on a 3-second cycle, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2, that's 10, plus 10, plus 10, that's 30, plus 10 more, plus 10, plus 10, that's a total of 60 per second. Pretty damn crazy, and it also has some excess hydrogen, and unfortunately, it needs some energetic graphite here. So we also have to bring in the energetic graphite. That we are just something that's, I consider that a raw material or a basic material, so we just request that. The carbon nanotubes are built at a specific site because they're used for many different things, so I don't need to build them at this location exactly. I can just request it in. And then the last part is the crystalline silicon, which again also is, if I go over to this one, it is 2 crystalline silicon, so I need 120 of these. And again, I am going to build it really, really quickly. For some reason, I don't have this coming out quickly enough. Oh, these are in the assemblers. So this is, since it's on a 1.5 second cycle, then each one will consider it to be 1. And how many do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 10, 20 per second. Go plus 20, plus 20, plus 20. That's 60. And I think I need more. Yes, I definitely need more. So I should just add a bit more. That's actually interesting that this seems to be being a bit low. And here we also have the graphite needed as well. These are better smelters. So I think I need a bit more of this. This has been idle for a long time. So this might actually be why it's slowly about to run out. Interesting. Something we definitely fix. But before we do that, we are going to take a look over at the antimatter production, because antimatter production is done in a really weird and interesting way in my build this year. So I am going to show you that as well. Here we are in one of the newer systems that we have taken under our domain, and you can see there's lots and lots of shooting solar sails on, but it still takes a very long time to fill out this one. But you can see it's getting along, and it's just looking absolutely wonderful. It's slowly building up, but this is one of the newer ones, so it's not as mature as previously. I think I need to find one of the planets. Where is it? That one. Oh, look at how close we are. That's brilliant. And this in the background is our highway across the star cluster. Absolutely amazing. And the game runs pretty smoothly, to be perfectly honest. Boom. Hello, planet. And we're going to be flying here. So this is how to do the antimatter. Well, actually, the first part of doing antimatter is not doing antimatter, it's doing photons. And you can see here, this is, if you find it familiar, then I hope you do. This is basically the normal design. You can kind of see a bit of difference between the inner rows and the outer rows instead of the luminosity. These seem a bit brighter. I don't know if that's just a optical illusion, but these are now set to power generation, and they have now gotten built output. And this is why I've designed it like this, because now there is a space for them to get it back here. So that is how we do the critical photons. I can't remember how many I need of these, but I remember that I need 7 of these planets with this setup in order to consume all of it. And that's what we're gonna do. Oh, and now I know why this is so big, because why it's not gotten so far. It's because this is a gigantic sphere. This is the max size. So it's still generating 59 gigawatt, which is plenty. And we can also see here that the critical photons, we have all that we need, because I've set 7 planets up to just do this. And this, I feel that's a better way. The way I do it with multiple Dyson spheres, then instead of overloading one, then I have multiple locations that each contribute, and then I consume some of the Dyson sphere for that. So that's a very simple thing. We can also look at how we do the actual photons. It's not what we do on this planet, but we'll just fly to show you where we actually do the critical photons. No, the antimatter. Let's fly there and I'll show you that. And back here in this system, and we have chosen this system because it's one of the more centralized places and it's close to our actual science facility. So I feel that this is a good location for us to gather all of the photons from the galaxy and all the critical photons, gather them and then combine them in here to our build that will make the antimatter. So let's have a look. Boom. We can see something is over here. Oops, I said it. Here you go. They are just coming in. All of them are going in really neatly here. And it's just a small build. It's actually surprisingly small. Yeah. It's not as big as making strange matter, for example, but that's going to be the next thing we're going to look at. But this is just a nice little build. It takes a lot of power. Pretty straightforward. Makes what it needs. It has some excess hydrogen that we have to deal with. And over here we just have something extra. This is a nice little build that I hacked together. That's taking care of all of our needs for fueling, or for this part, which we just once in a while need to go back here and grab a bit of each of this. So that's our antimatter, which will be exported and put into the science. And then we only have one thing, and that's the green science, which is obviously also by far the worst one, or not the worst one, not the best one, the most complicated one for sure. So let's have a look at the green science as the last thing, so we can round off and you can see how complicated that is and how well it runs, hopefully. Here we are in one more of the Dyson spheres. This one is so big that I have now two planets firing lasers firing solar sails at it. It looks just absolutely glorious, doesn't it? I absolutely love this. So here we have that one, and we are coming up on our little planet. This is the green planet. It's made green, so we can see that it's green science. I did not do that for any of the other ones, but this one is here. Whoa, it's going great. Is it though? Yes, it is. Everything is stable. Everything is stable. Perfect. Great to see that. Right, here we have the green science on the green planet. Looks pretty damn good. Now the green science will need a few things. You can see here this is the weird, because first you're like, oh, that's easy, because you need you get 2 green cubes. That's so cheap. Yeah, but you need 1 green lens and you need 1 quantum chip. So that actually means that we only need 30 green lenses per second and 30 quantum chips per second. So let's have a look at the green lenses. And let's have a look at quantum chips, I said. Let's look at quantum chips. So I need 30 quantum chips per second. That is here. And each quantum chip will require 2 processors and 2 plane filters. So 2 processors, that means I now need 60 processors and 60 plane filters. Ugh, disgusting. But the build in itself is pretty damn small. These 3 will take care of it, 20 each, easy to go. And then we get into the next part, which is the plane filters, and they are on a 12-second cycle, so you'll see that these builds are massive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we need 60 of these, right? Yeah, so this is 10 each, and they're still pretty damn big. So that's 6 of these. They need 2 more things that I don't consider basic materials: casimir crystals and titanium glass. So let's have a look at the titanium glass. It's just bringing things in. These are all considered basic items, by me at least. Well, yeah, titanium glass is what we get out. The titanium, the glass, and the water, those are basic materials. So that's what we built here. Getting that sorted. Also, by the way, if we look at this part here, this is now, I need to make 60 of these, so I need 120 glass. Luckily, the glass is pretty quick to build. It's just building 2 per 5 seconds, so it doesn't need to be as big in order to build all of it. And then we have my little standard casimir crystals. Each of these produce, boom, how much does it produce? Not a lot, I guess. This one is producing 1 every 4 seconds, so it's going to be 1, and there's 7 deep, so that's 1.5, so it's going to be 10. So each one is producing 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 60 in total, and that's exactly what we need. Very straightforward. So those are all the basic items. I'm considering graphene basic. I'm considering the optical crystal basic. But it's also interesting. We've tapped all the optical crystals we can in the galaxy, and it's kind of not really enough. We're not mining it fast enough, despite our mining productivity. I'm sure someone will ask about mining productivity. We just completed level 25 during our build, and we are now consuming 21%. But this is chugging along, and it's going to go pretty quick. Now, the other part of the quantum chips, each of the 30 quantum chips require 2 processors, so I need another 60 processors. We're going to be just doing the build that we looked at before. 15 plus 15 plus 15 over here as well, plus 15. So that's going to be the 60, and then I have some green circuits as well. Overbuild that, don't mind that. And then that was the one part, and then the other part is going to be the green lenses. Now, I did something that I don't usually do. Usually I bring these things back here and then I transport them. But I just wanted to test some things where I brought it in here directly. And I must say that this is something I think is much more robust, I think is the right word. Because when I put it into these boxes, this is exactly what you can see over on this side. Full, half full, and full. So if it starts consuming, one of them will go empty, and that means one of them will be working all out and the other ones will be idling because they're full. We can also see it here. Yeah, empty, empty, and, well, almost full, which means that we don't get the full capacity. What I'd like to do is, as soon as it drops below 100%, the entire build kicks in and gets it back up to 100%. In this case, for example, with quantum chips, if it drops below 100% capacity, then only a third of it will kick into gear and go back up. And only when 1/3 of the entire buffer between all of these 3 will be consumed, then it'll start using the other ones. So that's some things that if you can do direct insertion, that is an option. But that's not what we're dealing with here. I need to make sure that I have, for these ones, in order to make this is 6 per 6 seconds, and I need 4 diamonds and 1 strange matter. Strange matter is the worst. And since they are speed 1.5, then I can consider these 4 as doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not a surprise. 10 going in here, becoming 20 green circuits. Perfect. Diamonds are surprisingly fast, as we saw before. I have just built these 2 designs here, making diamonds, and even more diamonds directly from kimberlite, and they will easily be able to keep up. And then comes the bad one, the bad stuff. The bad stuff is, of course, the strange matter, because strange matter takes so long time to make. It's on an 8-second cycle, and it uses the small particle container, small particle collider. And they are really, really horrible to build because they are really big. They have poor alignment towards belts. They don't cater for any. Here you can build it here, but then it doesn't reach the stuff in the middle. So yeah, they are really not easy to build. But the good thing is, as long as we have these particle containers, I'm using both. I'm using all of my I'm mining every single bit of unipolar magnet in my galaxy and converting it to particle containers and phase and plane smelters, of course. And then on top of that, I'm also using a lot of green turbines to also make that. So that's built somewhere else. Aside from this, bring some iron in, bring some deuterium in, which we have tons of, and then we get the strange matter. So this is one of the hardest ones to keep up with, because 60 of these per second, well, as you can see, it's a lot of entities to build that. But it gets the job done, and it gets all the way in here to our, well, first into the green lenses, and the green lenses move on in here, and that will give us our green circuits. And that actually concludes all of the things I want to show you in terms of that. But let's jump on back and round off from the science facility, so we can look at that glorious site one more time. And now we're back here at our starting location where we started off, and heading back through our Dyson Sphere in order to find our planet, our science planet, that will hide somewhere in here. Oh, there we go. There it is. And that is simply because it's not loading fast enough for me to drop in. Let's get our character back and see if we can find our science facility. Here we go, the science facility, and now you can see it all lighting up. There we go. All of the lanes are still active. Lucky. And all these are still active. Everything is just working flawlessly and brilliantly. And we've now had a tour of the entire galaxy, and we can now marvel at this science, which means that basically I have a few bottlenecks to sort out, a few Dyson spheres to build, and that's what I'm going to be doing for the remainder of the series over on Twitch. If there's something more in terms of Dyson Sphere content that you would like to see here on YouTube, this is now the time that I'd like you to say it, because there are a lot of sort of small things that you can do. But honestly, I feel that I've covered the majority part of it, and Let's Play style, I think it'll be too much chasing bottlenecks and stamping down blueprints for it to be an enjoyable YouTube Let's Play. And it works much better as we can sort of rant about random things while doing that on Twitch. So that's why I've been doing it primarily on Twitch. But I love to do tutorials. I love to do sort of specific designs. If you have some things that you really feel that is missing in terms of Dyson Sphere Program content for the time being. Otherwise, this is probably going to be the end of this chapter for me for this game. But when new content comes out, then I'm definitely coming back to it, because I absolutely love this game. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for following this series, and I hope you want to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so that you can keep up with all the good factory building content that is definitely coming here. There are more games in the pipeline, so don't you worry about it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in another video. Until then, take care, and as always, stay effective.